The story begins, and we see the leader of a dangerous Yakuza gang who summons 3 of his men in front of him. The gang leader places a knife in front of them and gives them one final chance to prove that they truly regret their mistake. He explains that if they honestly accept their failure, he still has another task waiting for them. The first man immediately takes the knife without hesitation. As a sign of apology and respect, he cuts off a part of his little finger. After him, the second man also picks up the knife and cuts off his own finger in the same way. Both men endure the pain because they want to stay loyal to their boss and remain alive. However, the third member reacts very differently. Fear completely takes over him, and he cannot force himself to cut his finger. Deep inside, he refuses to fully accept his mistake or show loyalty to the gang. The Yakuza leader quickly understands his hesitation and sees it as betrayal. Without giving him another chance, the boss brutally kills the man by cutting off his head in front of everyone. The terrifying punishment leaves the 2 men completely silent. Afterward, the gang leader gives the surviving 2 members a new mission and orders them to travel to a strange town called Normal. The story then moves to the quiet country of Normal, where a new sheriff named Ulysses arrives in a small, snowy town, temporarily for 8 weeks. As Ulysses enters the sheriff's office for the first time, he notices a photograph of the former sheriff, Anthony, hanging on the wall. Curious about the previous sheriff's death, Ulysses checks Anthony's official death certificate and learns that the cause of his death is a heart attack. At first, the report seems normal, but things begin to feel strange when Ulysses enters Anthony's private weapons room. Inside, he discovers a massive collection of guns, explosives, bullets, and heavy equipment stored everywhere. Ulysses becomes confused because he cannot understand why a sheriff in a peaceful town needs such dangerous weapons. Outside the building, he also notices a giant machine parked nearby, making the mystery even more suspicious. Soon after, Ulysses receives a report about an argument happening inside a local shop. An elderly customer fights with the shopkeeper because the same products cost much less online. Ulysses steps in and manages to calm both sides before the situation becomes worse. While observing the store, he notices a heavily secured box hidden nearby. When he questions the shopkeeper about it, the man explains that the box contains stamp papers and chemicals used for destroying tree roots.
There's a lot of locks on that cabinet. What's going on there?
Old school stump removers.
I still don't know exactly what you're saying.
Even though the explanation sounds ordinary, Ulysses still feels suspicious about it. Before he investigates further, an old woman approaches him and brings him to her own shop. She complains that the products she orders arrive in the wrong color. During their conversation, Ulysses suddenly hears radio chatter coming from inside the store. He quickly realizes that the woman owns a radio device. The woman explains that she feels lonely and uses the radio only to entertain herself, but her true intentions remain unclear.
I ordered pink.
Because they look exactly the same to me.
No offense.
Mike, are you there? Over.
TV radio.
Oh.
Copy that, Sally. I'm on my way.
Oh.
I get lonely.
Later, Mike and Ulysses visit the mayor's house where a memorial gathering for Anthony takes place. He meets Dr. Walter, the man responsible for Anthony's post-mortem examination. Walter explains that Anthony enjoys fishing and drinking alcohol. According to him, Anthony's frozen body is discovered behind his house while still holding a fishing rod. Walter believes Anthony drinks too much after fishing, collapses in the snow, and eventually freezes to death outside his home.
What happened there?
Morning, Deputy Blaine found him out back, frozen like his fishing. He had a fishing rod in.
Just then, the mayor arrives at the memorial gathering and immediately requests some private time with the police officers. The mayor gives Ulysses a welcome and expresses confidence that he will become a capable sheriff for the town. After sharing a few words, the mayor quietly leaves the room. Then, Ulysses notices Alex, the daughter of the former Sheriff Anthony, outside arguing with one of the police officers. That night, Ulysses visits a local hotel to eat dinner and gather more information about the town. Inside the hotel, he meets a young woman named Moira, who appears familiar with many local residents. Curious about Anthony's life, Ulysses questions her about the former sheriff. Moira explains that Anthony regularly visits the hotel after work and often spends his evenings drinking alcohol. Later that evening, while driving through the snowy roads, Ulysses notices a van parked suspiciously on the roadside. Wanting to investigate, he slowly approaches the vehicle and discovers Alex sitting alone inside while drinking alcohol. Her exhausted face and emotional condition immediately make it clear that she is struggling deeply after her father's death. Ulysses sits beside her and begins drinking as well, but his real intention is to understand what she is hiding and why she looks so broken. During their conversation, Alex eventually reveals that she does not believe her father dies naturally. Her father becomes extremely worried about strange activities happening inside the town before his death. Alex also reveals that certain people are trying to stop her from returning to work because they fear she could expose secrets that may create problems for them.
He didn't want me to attend the memorial service because that I would be too much of a distraction. It killed him. And I don't know what to do.
Feeling concerned for her safety, Ulysses decides to take her back to the police station. The story then briefly shifts toward a couple named Lori and Keith, who secretly prepare for a dangerous robbery. The next morning, Ulysses arrives at the station carrying breakfast for Alex. When he reaches the cell, he notices that she is still sleeping, so he quietly leaves the food nearby. Meanwhile, an emergency alarm begins ringing throughout the area. Police officers quickly discover that an armed robbery is taking place at the local bank. Lori and Keith storm into the bank carrying guns and immediately place everyone inside in danger. The two Yakuza members who previously cut off their fingers are working there as guards. During the robbery, an elderly man suffers a heart attack and collapses to the floor. With great difficulty, the old man manages to pull medicine from his pocket but cannot take it himself. Despite the chaos around him, Keith rushes forward and helps the man take the medicine, ultimately saving his life. Using the opportunity, Joe secretly dials a number on his phone. The moment the line connects, a warning message reaches the Yakuza gang. After that, Joe suddenly attacks Keith and seriously injures him. Seeing Keith wounded, Lori reacts instantly and fires her gun directly at Joe. Fortunately, Joe survives because he is wearing a protective jacket beneath his clothes, but his partner instantly. During this chaos, a bullet accidentally strikes Keith directly in the neck. Outside the building, Ulysses and his police team finally arrive at the scene. The officers quickly surround the bank and begin preparing their weapons for a full assault. However, Ulysses immediately stops them from opening fire because he believes the situation can still be handled peacefully.
I'm going in.
The fuck you are!
Right? We're gonna have a massacre in there.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Without hesitation, Ulysses slowly walks toward the entrance. But the moment he reaches the gate, something completely unexpected happens. The police officers suddenly begin firing directly at him without warning. Nobody understands why the officers abruptly turn against their own sheriff, yet the shooting continues relentlessly from every direction. Their reckless attack causes several innocent bank employees to get caught in the crossfire and lose their lives instantly. Realizing that he is being targeted, Ulysses quickly fires back in self-defense and shoots towards the officers. Soon after, Mike also joins the gunfight and fires continuously at the officers outside. Amid the heavy gunfire and confusion, Ulysses quickly moves toward Lori and the badly injured Keith before taking cover beside them inside the bank. Lori becomes confused after witnessing the police attack their own sheriff. She cannot understand why the officers outside are trying to kill him even though he works with them. During the panic, Ulysses notices the nervous behavior of the bank manager and immediately forces him to reveal what is truly hidden inside the building. The manager leads them toward a secret locker room hidden deep within the bank. Once inside, Ulysses discovers enormous stacks of gold bars, huge amounts of cash, and numerous valuable items stored in secret vaults. At that moment, everything finally starts making sense. The hidden fortune inside the bank is the real reason why so many people are willing to kill in order to protect the town's secrets. A short time later, the bank manager suddenly sees an opportunity to escape. He quickly runs toward his office desk where a gun is secretly hidden inside one of the drawers. The moment he takes out the weapon and attempts to shoot Ulysses, Ulysses reacts instantly and shoots him dead. After that, Ulysses informs Lori and Keith that the three of them must now work together if they wish to escape alive from the bank.
What is going on here?
Fucked up little trio of ours. We're a team.
Yes, sir.
Just then, a phone nearby suddenly begins ringing loudly. When Ulysses answers the call, he discovers that the mayor himself is speaking from outside the building. The mayor coldly informs him that he has no allies left because the entire town stands on the mayor's side. Ulysses demands an explanation, and the mayor finally reveals the dark truth about the town of Normal. Years ago, the isolated town suffered from poverty because nobody cared about the people living there. Eventually, the Yakuza gang approaches the town with a secret offer. Since the gang earns massive amounts of illegal money, they need a safe hidden place to store their wealth. In exchange for protecting the Yakuza's fortune, the town receives enormous sums of money, allowing the people to improve their lives and rebuild the city. The mayor then offers if Ulysses kills Lori and Keith, the town will allow him to leave safely without harm. Instead of accepting the offer, Ulysses immediately hangs up the phone. After that, the lights inside the bank suddenly shut off, and darkness slowly spread across the entire town. Ulysses opens fire toward the mayor and destroys several nearby vehicles with heavy gunfire. Amid the panic and chaos, he successfully escapes from the bank together with Lori and Keith. Meanwhile, far away, the Yakuza boss repeatedly attempts to contact the people in Normal, but nobody answers his calls anymore. Realizing that something has gone terribly wrong, the Yakuza boss personally travels toward Normal along with his armed men. At the same time, Ulysses quickly brings Lori and Keith into a nearby shop while Keith continues losing blood from his severe injuries. The shop belongs to the same old woman with the radio. Ulysses immediately realizes that the radio could be useful for tracking the movements and understanding what is happening outside. However, before he can even approach the radio, the old woman suddenly takes out a gun and begins firing directly at him. Meanwhile, Lori quickly grabs a nearby weapon and returns fire at the old woman, forcing her to retreat deeper inside the shop. While Lori keeps her distracted, Ulysses quietly moves around the backside of the building and manages to knock down a heavy object. Lori immediately rushes toward her and kills her before she can continue attacking them. Once the danger is gone, Ulysses quickly treats Keith's injuries as best as possible using whatever medical supplies he can find inside the shop. Even though Keith is still in terrible condition, Ulysses explains that they cannot stay there for long because the townspeople will eventually find them.
Okay, what's the plan?
Go to the police station. You're the man. Let's go.
Let's go.
The three survivors soon continue moving carefully toward the police station through the dark, snowy streets. However, while traveling, an armed man suddenly opens fire on them without warning. During the attack, one of the bullets strikes Ulysses directly, throwing him backward into a nearby shop. Fortunately, the protective jacket beneath his clothes absorbs most of the impact, preventing the bullet from seriously injuring him. Another man suddenly attacks Ulysses inside the shop. To Ulysses' surprise, the attacker turns out to be the same shopkeeper whose argument he peacefully settled. The man has now fully joined the townspeople and is determined to kill him. A brutal fight quickly breaks out inside the shop. During the struggle, Ulysses sprays a chemical substance directly into the man's eyes, temporarily blinding him. Taking advantage of the moment, Ulysses grabs a nail and violently strikes the attacker with it. The nail pierces through the man's eye, killing him instantly before he can continue fighting. After the fight ends, Ulysses finally opens the heavily secured box that first caught his attention earlier. Inside, he discovers large amounts of flares and sticks of dynamite hidden carefully inside the container. He immediately realizes that the supplies can be used as deadly weapons against the armed townspeople hunting them down. Outside, another attacker continues firing non-stop at Lori and Keith. Keith attempts to fight back whenever possible, but his severe injuries leave him too weak to overpower the man. Eventually, the attacker takes out a knife and slowly approaches Lori with the clear intention of killing her. Suddenly, a massive signboard crashes down directly onto the attacker, crushing him to death instantly. But then, several more armed townspeople arrive and begin firing heavily after discovering one of their men has been killed. Then multiple flares suddenly land near the attackers and explode violently. Ulysses secretly modifies them using the dynamite hidden inside the box. During the confusion, Mike picks up one of the burning flares and attempts to put it out, believing the danger is gone. Instead, the flare suddenly explodes in his hands and kills him instantly. Soon afterward, several more explosions spread across the street, killing multiple armed townspeople. Meanwhile, Lori and Keith finally arrive at the police station and try to start the massive vehicle Ulysses mentioned earlier. However, a woman inside the station quickly grabs a rifle before moving toward them. Luckily, Ulysses arrives just in time and wrestles the rifle away from her hands. During the struggle, the woman falls beneath a suspended vehicle hanging above her. Just then, the heavy car suddenly crashes down and kills her instantly. After that, Ulysses reaches Lori and Keith and teaches them how to operate the vehicle properly. He orders them to escape from the town immediately, while they still have the chance.
Okay, we'll get to a hospital.
You're not coming with us?
I'm tired of running away from every goddamn thing, and you consider this your second chance.
Instead of leaving with them, Ulysses chooses to stay behind and deal with the entire town himself. The moment Ulysses steps outside the police station carrying his gun and protective gear, Moira suddenly appears from the darkness and shoots him without warning. Fortunately, the bullet strikes the bulletproof jacket hidden beneath his clothes, preventing the shot from killing him instantly. Even so, the impact is powerful enough to throw him onto the ground, leaving him unable to react immediately. After shooting him, Moira finally reveals the shocking truth behind Anthony's mysterious death. She admits that she is the person responsible for killing the former sheriff because Anthony strongly opposes the town's secret partnership with the Yakuza gang. Unlike the corrupt townspeople, Anthony never accepts the idea of allowing criminals to control the town in exchange for money and protection. According to Moira, Anthony's refusal eventually makes him a threat to everyone involved in the illegal operation.
How did you know?
I killed him because he wanted out.
Moira explains that on the night Anthony visits the hotel, she mixes sleeping drugs into his alcohol without his knowledge. Once the drugs take effect and Anthony loses consciousness, she drags his body outside into the freezing snowstorm and piles snow around him. However, Moira further reveals that Anthony is still alive at that point. Wanting to ensure his death completely, she pours water over his unconscious body and leaves him outside to freeze to death. After confessing everything, Moira prepares to finish Ulysses using a shotgun. But before that, Alex suddenly attacks her from behind. During the struggle, Alex grabs Moira's weapon and shoots her dead using her own gun. After that, Ulysses shares a dangerous plan with Alex as dozens of armed townspeople gather outside the police station waiting to attack. The moment Alex suddenly drives out of the station in a car, everyone immediately opens fire on her vehicle. Bullets strike the car repeatedly from every direction, yet Alex continues driving fearlessly through the crowd. Joe quickly realizes where Alex is heading and understands that something terrible is about to happen. Alex drives toward the bank where the hidden Yakuza fortune is stored. Once she arrives there, Ulysses contacts the townspeople using the radio communication system. Through the broadcast, he warns everyone that his deputy has already surrounded the hidden vault with explosives. He threatens that if anything happens to him, the entire treasure inside the bank will explode instantly. In reality, Alex secretly places dynamite around the vault and activates it as part of their plan. Ulysses then offers the townspeople a final proposal to avoid complete destruction. He explains that everyone should work together to clean up the bank and make the entire incident appear to be nothing more than a terrible accident. According to his plan, when the Yakuza gang arrives, the townspeople will simply explain that an accident triggers the alarm system and causes all the destruction. The townspeople eventually agree because they realize it is their only chance to survive.
Just make it seem like any other day.
Basically, their treasure is untouched.
The next morning, everyone works together to repair the damage and create a scene that looks like a tragic accident instead of a violent conflict. After that, the Yakuza gang finally arrives in the town of Normal to investigate the situation personally. At first, the gang members do not trust the explanations given by the police officers and townspeople. They immediately head toward the bank to inspect their hidden fortune themselves. Once they confirm that the vault and treasure remain untouched, they finally relax and lower their guard. Soon afterward, the townspeople organize a grand dinner for the Yakuza gang in an attempt to restore peace between everyone. However, everything changes when a worker at the bar opens a bottle, and the flying bottle cap accidentally strikes an object hanging nearby. That object falls onto a shotgun resting below it. When the shotgun crashes to the floor, the trigger accidentally fires, and the bullet strikes the Yakuza boss directly and kills him instantly. Furious and shocked, the gang members immediately begin attacking the townspeople and police officers. A massive and bloody fight quickly erupts throughout the area, turning the dinner into complete destruction. During the violent fight, Ulysses eventually kills Joe once and for all. Only 3 police officers remain alive, who later take responsibility for protecting and managing the town of Normal.